Hi, and welcome to Making All the Plans. I'm Connie, and if we haven't met before, I'm a busy mom of 2 active kids, and both my husband and I have full-time careers. This is the second video in my quarterly planning series. If you missed the first one, I'll drop in a card for it, but the first video described the HB90 method and went into some detail on the first 3 areas of the system, which are reflection and review of the previous quarter, future vision and planning, and the boot camp kickoff. In this video, we will discuss setting realistic goals and deciding what projects will fit into those goals given the time allotted. I do want to mention again that there is a printable that goes along with the HB90 method, and that even though I use my Leuchtturm, which looks like this, Sarah does make a printable available. When setting up goals and projects for the upcoming quarter, Sarah has you start by completing a brain dump of everything. Things you've already committed to doing, things you want to do, things you should do, things someone else has mentioned you should do, etc. Then she helps you prioritize what should actually go on your plate for the quarter. But then Sarah takes it one step further and talks about time. Up until now, I had just made a list of all the projects that I wanted to get done, and then I was bummed out when I couldn't complete them all. But after using the system for the last 2 quarters, I'm understanding why time is so important. First, I started by laying out my ideal week and, given the best case scenario, how much time I would have to work on each project. And I found that even when I had slated every task block to something, there still wasn't enough time to get everything done. So here is one of the printable pages that is within Sarah's HB90 method. There is one that is printable without the times on it, but originally I thought that starting my day at 6 would be fine, but I'm really going to try to get back to getting up at 5 o'clock again. We'll see how well it works, but I'm hoping that with the time change, when we fall back an hour, that will help me to be able to adjust my wake up time as well. I am starting by penciling in or highlighting my working hours, and I need to estimate 80 task blocks or 40 hours. Each task block is a half an hour. So I did go ahead and slate in 80, it says 84, but I will come back and switch this up just a little bit in a minute. The pink is for making all the plans. The light blue is for workout. The dark pink or the reddish color is admin for making all the plans. The gray filled in is routine. So it doesn't take me very long to do my evening routine, but it does take me longer to do my morning routine. And then those hash marks for the gray are sleeping hours. The light green is for just general home tasks, making meals, things like that. And then the dark green is for my home goals. So I will just go through and try and figure out what the best schedule is for each day on an ideal day. So this ideal day does not calculate any soccer games, any work that I have to do outside of my normal working hours, any travel, anything like that. This is just the ideal that I would be spending my time on each day of the week. And as I'm drawing this in, I'm trying to think through things like, when will I pick up my groceries? When will I do some self-care? So that will be that bigger task block on Sunday of the gray. So it'll just be incorporated into my Sunday routine. And then when will I do admin work for making all the plans? What those things are will be defined here in the next step. But for right now, I am focusing on just laying out that ideal week and then starting to look at the numbers to see if I think there will be enough time to do each task for each goal. The next step is figuring out which days I already have things scheduled on and which days I will and won't be able to do those allotted time blocks. So I'm going through, and the very first thing that I'm doing is crossing off any day where there's a soccer game scheduled or something scheduled after work or something that is taking up a weekend day. I am adjusting a few of the day's hours if I have something small, but still think that I'm going to be able to spend some time on my goals. So there are some days where there's a number plus one. The number is the number of hours I have to work on making all the plans. Then plus whatever the number is, that's the admin tasks. And then if there's a number below that, that is the number of hours I can spend on home tasks. So I'm just kind of guessing here. There will be 2 weekends at least where we are at soccer tournaments, and I'll just have to figure that out later. I am supposed to go to Florida at some point, so I did leave a week blank just in case. Thanksgiving week's a little tricky because we may be going on campus visits places. So I'm just kind of doing a rough estimate at this point. But this also shows why I only truly schedule out the first month, because I do know pretty much what is happening in October, but November and December really can change. Then I'm going to go ahead and get these in my HB90 notebook so that I have them to reference when I write out my goals and continue to plan out the quarter. And I just used a little bit of tape, and then I'm dropping in some washi tape to make it decorative and so the edges of the pages don't stick up and get caught on anything. I will also mention while I'm wrapping this up that the peach is for my working hours. The colored in boxes are the in-office hours. The cross hatch orange is for driving time. And then the area that is mostly white with just the sidebar colored in, that is the at-home hours. Or at least that is the ideal. But now I can visually see how this impacts the number of hours I can work on a project, which is a game changer. If you want a more in-depth explanation of this step, check out last quarter's video, which I will also drop a card for. So I will apologize because I forgot to start the camera when I was writing down my goals. But given all the information I've pulled together so far, I can now make informed decisions about my goals and projects. The first quarter for making all the plans, I overestimated my growth. Last quarter, I way underestimated my growth. So this quarter, I'm going to aim for 10% growth in my subscribers to beat my watch hour average from last quarter and to increase my Instagram followers by 5%. I will go ahead and set good, better, best goals. Although I do want to stretch a bit, I really want to hit at least that good goal. So my goal says this quarter I'm hustling hard to get closer to that shiny YouTube silver play button. 1,000 subscribers. Hello, vision board. And here's the plan. Grow my YouTube subscriber squad by 10% each quarter. So my good will be 1,574 subscriptions, better 2,045 subscriptions, and best 2,600 subscriptions. Then to crush last quarter's watch hours. So good would be 2,261 for the quarter, better would be 2,488 for the quarter, and best would be 2,714 per quarter. And I know that Instagram will still continue to take a back seat, so it says show Insta some love with a 5% subscriber boost. So that's good 7 additional subscribers, better 14 additional subscribers, and best 21 additional subscribers. Time to make those numbers pop and keep the dream alive. And although I did lay out all of my goals and then I came back and did my projects for each goal, I am going to just go ahead and talk about my projects for goal 1 right now while we are on the subject. So for making all the plans, I did peek back at last quarter's goals. I do want to create content calendars for each month of the quarter, and that is an admin task in my mind. So I'm estimating 10 hours this quarter worth of admin time, and I think I should be able to do that without a problem. The second goal is 2 to 3 videos per week, which is about 24 task blocks a week. I estimate about 8 task blocks per video, and that's 312 task blocks for the whole quarter. My third project, I am just going to try to keep it small but consistent. So, Instagram cleanup, and I'm only putting in 3 task blocks for this for the entire quarter. So, just a half an hour once a month working on cleaning up Instagram a little bit. Or I can block that all together if I do have a bigger chunk of time and do all 3 task blocks at once. But I don't see that happening this quarter. The fourth is 1 to 2 Instagram posts per week. I plan on spending about 6 task blocks per week or 78 total for the quarter. And I'm just kind of looking through. I think that I can also do some Instagram class work in any extra time, but I'm thinking partially during the admin time on Sunday. So let me throw in a little washi tape on the pages for goal 2 and goal 3, and then we will start laying out goal 2, which is my personal goal. I have been less than successful with my personal goal the last 2 quarters, so I really want to revamp it and try to make it a little bit easier to step into and maybe start building habits instead of, how should I say, trying to force myself to lose weight, because really this is about feeling better and not just losing weight. So this quarter is all about balance, closing my Apple Watch activity rings, packing healthy lunches, and shedding some pounds. So here's the plan. Closing my rings, good 4 days a week, better 5 days a week, and best, of course, is 7 days a week. I am setting a weight loss goal, and that is just 2 pounds per month for good, 3 pounds per month for better, and 4 pounds per month for best. And then for meals, my good is 2 lunches and 2 dinners out a week, but really I'm trying to get better. So 1 lunch and 1 dinner out a week. And then best case scenario would be only 1 lunch or 1 dinner out a week, and preferably 1 dinner with my family. We do like to do a pizza night. It's all about staying active, eating right, and locking in those healthy habits. And again, I will jump over to the projects page and we can walk through those next. My projects for personal seem to be more like a tracker, like a weekly tracker, than actual tasks or projects. So I am struggling a little bit with the personal, especially since I have not been good about incorporating any changes the last 2 quarters, and I have not lost any weight. I feel like I've been moving more. I have closed my rings a little more on my Apple Watch, but I really would like to work on this a little harder. So, weigh in weekly, monthly body measurements, take supplements, close rings on Apple Watch, meal prep on weekend, pack lunches at night, and evening meals. So for goal 3, my home goal, I'm having a hard time coming up with a measurable goal. So my goal this quarter, this house is getting its groove back for the cooler months. It's time to tackle fall tasks and dive into some home renovations to ensure everything is ready for the chill. From bottom to top, it's time to declutter, clean up, and create a cozy, warm, and welcoming space. It's time for this house to feel like a home. And unfortunately, a lot of the projects from last quarter are getting moved over because I spent pretty much all the spare time I had working on finding a new car for my husband. So it was a struggle, and now all of those projects are basically moving forward to this quarter. The only thing that I did accomplish other than buying the car was cleaning out the garage so that the car could fit in there again. It had gotten a little cluttered since my husband was letting my son use the car, and my son did not pull the car into the garage. So lots of stuff got piled up there. So for this quarter, the projects are replacing the back door, driveway maintenance, clean home exterior and spray siding, replace lighting at the front of the house, clean the shed, wash windows and screen, replace the dryer vent, change the furnace filter, clean up the flower beds, replace shrubs, and decorate for Christmas. And although I did want to start decluttering, given the time allotted for this quarter, I really think that this project list is about all I'm going to be able to get done unless the weather turns early, and then we will switch our focus a little bit to the inside of the house. But I'm really hoping to get these things done before it gets cool outside. In HB90, Sarah recommends not to have more than 3 goals. And between a full-time job, kid stuff, and life, 3 is even a lot. But life is about balance, and I really need to work on that. But the big change in this system really is the time estimation. So now that I'm looking at my goals, my ideal day with task blocks, and my time estimator, what can I reasonably get done this quarter? I'm feeling good about the time that I've carved out for my making all the plans, goals, and projects. I will mention that there will be more soccer scheduled in November and December, and I will probably take a trip to Florida, and I also see some data center trips for work in my future, but I still feel like 2 to 3 videos per week are still doable. And I like that I have the admin block on Sundays so that I can do things like work through my Instagram course. My personal goals are covered with my blue task blocks, and then some of the food prep and meal prep are covered with the light green task blocks. My next step really will be fleshing out what routine items need done on which days. When we get to home goals, thankfully some of the things on my home list are not things that I will physically be doing, but we all know that it takes time to make phone calls, find contractors, meet with contractors, etc. And most of those things will need to be done during the workday, so I'm thinking that I'll take some of either the blue or pink time blocks that I have on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and change them to green the weeks that I need to. Again, I'm aiming for balance, but this time estimation is really the game changer. In the next HB90 video, we will discuss breaking these projects into tasks, making a Kanban board for the first month of the quarter, and why I don't make a Kanban board for the entire quarter. But thank you so much for joining me today. If you'd like to be notified of that next video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that little notification bell. If you do have any questions about the HB90 system, I would love to chat about them. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.